Okay, welcome to Cosmic Wisdom Update. The date is March 24th, and we are just about 4 or 5 days before the new moon in Aries, which is also partial solar eclipse here where I am in British Columbia. That's also the beginning of the new zodiac year. So this update comes at the waning full moon, also a lunar eclipse in Virgo. Also, ending some massive, massive cycles. And today I'm going to bring in an energetic update that pertains to this moment in time and what we're all collectively releasing. We'll yawn there. And also what is happening today, big time, and what is now open to the portal of the solar eclipse energy coming in is light coming in. High frequency plasma waves. We have solar wind. And this is all bathing us in these like high frequencies, this crystalline energy, anticipating that next rush of energy, that solar eclipse coming in. So we kind of have two things happening at once right now. We're in the waning and the letting go of the old and the purging process, that lunar eclipse really started to bring to the surface, bring to our conscious awareness. And then we have layered on top of that process that is now waning out for the next 4 or 5 days, layered on top incoming energies. So the first important thing to understand about this process is that as we've been dredging up and excavating the inner parts of ourselves that no longer want to be suppressed and held inside, that creates space in the body, in the system. And this light coming in at the same time is filling that space that we're creating with high frequency light. Excuse me. With high frequency light. So we're getting this like purging and space created, and we're getting light coming in right away. Twofold, that is exhausting. Doing the emotional work, doing the purging, whether you're in the depths of the fighting and the feeling and the emotions or the pain, if you've thrown something in your body out, like this can show up in so many different ways, flare-ups, like, you name it. However, this has materialized and is materializing in your external reality, and you're feeling that and going through the depths of that is also, that's exhausting, right? So we need a lot of rest and we need a lot of patience and we need to honor that we're still kind of in that cocoon. But then what's coming in also is light to fill that up. And with that density leaving, and then this system calibrating very quickly to a higher frequency, that's exhausting. Super exhausting. And whenever we have these solar storms and this incoming waves of these plasma waves and this incoming light, it's really just a time when we need to like let our body rest and let go, and to hydrate and to have baths and to go to bed early and all of these things, because we're attuning to this higher frequency. So we have both of those things happening at once right now, and that will continue into the new moon, the solar eclipse that's coming in 4 days. So the first message here is like, really rest, really like honor yourself, your physical body, letting your body feel the weight and the pain and the like restructuring of the old leaving, and then allowing it to have a lot of like downtime as you attune to what's coming in. So I always use this example of like upgrades to a computer. So if you got to notice that your computer needs an upgrade, it happens overnight while your computer's like shut down and there's no programs running, and it has to be plugged into a power source, right? Because it takes so much energy to download this new operating system. And this is really what's happening right now. We're going through the junk folder. So say this new operating system is getting ready to come in at a certain time. You know that on March 30th, you need to have that new operating system intact. That's the solar eclipse, the new moon, the new year. So that's your deadline. So, but there's not enough space in your hard drive currently. So in your body, there isn't enough space to bring in this new download. So what you need to do is go through all of your junk folders, your downloads, your documents, all of the things that you have on there that are taking up space that you don't need anymore. So between now and the 30th, we're creating space by deleting these old files and programs. And at the second that we delete them, they're getting filled up because the downloads are already coming in. Okay. So as you're creating space, as you're going through that process of cleaning out the old files, the new operating system is coming in. Now imagine that you also had to create a whole feature length movie, or you were running Photoshop and iMovie and all of these things on your computer while you're doing that purging work and you're doing bringing in a new operating system. It just doesn't work. You can't do it. So what you need to do is during the day, during your awareness, you need to, and when you have the energy for it, I should say, clean out those old files, trash it, empty the trash bin, create space, and then be like, okay, I'm done for today. I'm exhausted. Shut the system down and then allow those upgrades to come in. Okay. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if your body is saying, like, no, we can't take this, if you're super busy, wherever you can, minimize your life, minimize your routine, allow for rest, allow the system to come in, recalibrate, and just nurture yourself as much as possible as we move into. Because by March 30th, guess what? It's out with the old and the new operating system is in. What is the new operating system? It's embodiment. It's a more soul-led life, not aligned, because alignment gives the idea of like, let me, you come in for a reading, let me give you this download, like let me bring in a message or an akashic download for you, and I'll show you, like, here's what's in your alignment. That very much feels like something outside of yourself that you're like, okay, you're trying to like shape shift and get aligned to and move towards. That is helpful. We've all been doing that work and we'll continue to do that work. But this upgrade that's coming in is not something to align to. It is an embodiment. It is embodiment coming into the system, a new operating system. It's a new you. So moving forward, we are going to be so much more embodied and soul led. And that's why we have this density of purging and letting go, because ultimately what's stored in those files that we're now needing to throw in the trash is like old suppressive anger behaviors, old addictions, old ego pathways, mechanisms that have served to protect you from letting more love in, from moving into a more aligned life. Those aren't needed anymore. And so we're like, hey, look at them, clear them out, double click on that folder and see all of the pictures from the times in your life where you've been like, nope, not going there, not feeling that, not acknowledging that. Well, now is the time to go there, because in order to bring in this new operating system that's coming with this massive shift that's happening, we really need to get rid of the programs that run counter to that. So there's a huge release and let go and purging and deletion of the survival, the fear, the ego, that programming that we've been running our whole life that isn't in alignment with our new operating system that's coming in. And it's not like we shift overnight from being like 100% that to like magically waking up and being like, wow, it's like these things are happening as we navigate through them. And every moment right now, we're getting the opportunity to choose that soul movement, that heart movement, rather than that mental or those old survival pathways. This is really the big shift that's happening, is from a mind-based way of moving through and creating our reality to heart-based. That's the big shift. When this new operating system comes in, it's now drawing on energy from that heart brain, that high intelligence, the high heart, rather than the mind. So the mind wants to keep us in the black box of programming that's worked for us up until this point. But I always say, like, you're getting this message right now, which means that there's a new option available to you. And it's a matter of seeing all of those ways that have us acting out of fear and acting and suppressing and covering up and reaching for the tendencies that make it possible for us to keep suppressing it and saying, not this time. I'm not doing that this time. I'm going to delete those tendencies just by sitting in it and not doing that. And it might just be, you know, sitting in your center and not moving from that place. I know personally when I'm really in the throes of my own like need to be centered and move through something, I like to think about the card, the High Priestess. So that imagery really helps me keep my center. So in that tarot card, High Priestess, which you can Google, there's two pillars beside her, and she's sitting on her throne right in the center. One is black and one is white, meaning there's always going to be polarization, duality, right and wrong, good and evil. But when you're centered, and she's got this cross, the true cross on in the middle of her chest, which is the now moment. It's the place that we exist from, that is the omnipresent moment, which we could call where we anchor into the heart field. So I'm anchored into that now moment. I've collapsed space and I've collapsed time, and I'm anchored right here in my heart, and I'm not going to budge from this place. And no matter how much the external is pulling on you to react, know that the second that you jump out of that space, you're then in the energy of the mind and the world and everything that wants to pull you from your center. So you just come right back and you go, I'm not leaving this place. There's nothing more important for me right now than to learn to sit in this place. For me, the eclipse is happening on my first and my seventh house axis, which is the relationship axis. So I'm really being pulled into relational dynamics and be like, oh, how much does this pull me from my center? But for you, it might be happening on the 6th and 12th, between like your work and your hobbies and your like routine and your way of doing things, and being surrendered and just letting it go and learning how to sit in that place of nothingness and hear your mind telling you these catastrophic things that might think, if you don't jump out of it and move into action, right? There's so many ways that this could show up for you, but really focusing into that cross, that collapsing of time and space, which is the third dimension, removing yourself from the polarity, sitting in the center of it, coming into the heart space and anchoring into the heart mind, the intelligence there, and just staying put. That's your best way through. Okay. Now, in the card, she's also got her hand on the Torah, which is her holy book, right? And so sometimes I even will imagine myself like holding something and saying, this is the truth, is that we're here to be surrendered. We're here to be devotion. We're here to remember that holy book. We're here to remember that there's more than just this human experience. I'm just holding that while I hold my center. And she's got the crescent moon on her head. She's got the full moon on her head, and she has the crescent moon down at her feet, and her veil kind of turns into water, right? And that represents the emotions of the human experience. We're very much here to rise above those tumultuous human emotions and to find that place of center, and to be anchored in that place between duality and to start from there. And so it represents a certain mastery over those emotional experiences that tend to draw us and pull us in and ebb and flow with the tides. So just whatever is your way to find your center point and to start to tune into that heart-based place of living and then acting from, that's going to be your best resource for getting through these next 5 days that are going to be like the bottom of the waning and the dredging of that full moon lunar eclipse. Okay. um yeah, that was a lot, so I'm just going to like center in here. That's one resource, one tool that you can use. Okay. But in general, knowing that this new operating system is coming in, and in every moment, we have that choice point to move in the heart based direction, which is often moving through the fear and shedding that fear based perspective at the same time. And for me, it just really helps to connect to that centered moment. Come there first and be like, okay, I know I can do this. I know I have the resources. I know I have the awareness and the tools. So I'm going to step in this direction. Love instead of fear, opening instead of closing. I just do everything I can to step into it. But if I can't, that's okay too. I at least try to stay put right here and just hold myself. Right. So this is going to be where we're at for the next 4 days. So knowing that with these uploads, our brain operating system is upgrading, our nervous system is upgrading, our body is taking on the brunt of the like feeding energy and resources to these upgrades. We're going to have less energy. We're going to need to nurture ourselves more, drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables, foods that like consume light is what we want to eat because we're bringing in light as well. So those are going to be the nutrients and the foods that are best able to sustain our system as we go through this upgrade. And then really being gentle on ourselves too, because the more that we shame and we hold ourselves in judgment through going through this dredging process is the extent to which we hold on to those emotions. We hold them in our body, and now we're seeing them outside of ourselves, but we're bringing them back in and saying like, oh, I should be past this, or I shouldn't be in this, or imposter syndrome, right? So just like letting it happen and letting go. And whatever you do, don't attach to it. Just let it bubble up, let it be seen, and saying, okay, I see it there, but I'm going to hold myself here. Okay. So I'm going to keep this kind of short and sweet because I would love to do another update for the new moon and the solar energy that's coming in. But know that we're already in the incoming solar eclipse, but we're also in the exiting lunar eclipse. And that's not just the exit of this lunar eclipse cycle, that's the exit of years and years. And I would say even like the shift of a lifetime is happening right now. Like this is the biggest transition month that we've experienced to date in this life. And with that, a lot of stuff is going to be changing in your reality. And that's what a solar eclipse does. By the time that solar eclipse comes around, jobs, relationships, people, pets, houses, homes, all of these things are going to be massively kind of overhauled in our life. And that's just the materialization of those inner computer files that we've been like clicking on and throwing into the trash. Well, our reality has to recalibrate. We're literally shifting the morphogenetic field, the quantum field around us to be more in line with these changes that we're making. So keep yourself centered, hold yourself, right? Like the body always gets the first level of awareness. So come to your body and love yourself. Give yourself that love and that compassion for what we're all going through right now. And then center yourself and keep yourself here and say, I won't leave this place. I'm safe here. I'm going to stay here. Okay. And then if you're ready to take a step forward, you step in the direction of it's safe to open. I'm going to test out these waters. Oh, maybe I'm going to come back to holding myself. Okay, I'm going to center. I'm going to open up. I'm going to start feeling into stepping forward in this world. Again, baby steps, rest, nurture yourself, be gentle on yourself. We've got 4.5 days until the new year. And there's nothing more important right now than honoring this process, like the leaps and the shifts that are ushered into our lives on the other side of this deep excavation and healing work are far more profound and like exponentially expansive than what we can create on our own by trudging through, putting our nose to the grindstone and just grinding it out while we're tired, while we're shifting, while we're in pain, while we're holding ourselves. So as much as you can, take some time over these next 5 days to just go through that process, knowing that we're getting this massive upgrade. New structures are forming. Literally, I get this tingling inside my mind as it's like a crystalline little tingling sound. And that shows me that crystalline structures are forming. DNA is coming online. You're becoming multidimensional right now, which means your extra strands of DNA are coming online, which hold all of your soul's wisdom. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to trudge through to align to it. It's happening right now for all of us. As I speak, I can hear and feel the new blueprint activating. And if it's happening for me, I know it's happening for all of us. So know that the more you rest, the more you're exponentially going to feel the expansion from this, because those codes are coming online inside of you. This is the time that your divine timing, your soul has deemed, with this collective shift that we're all going through at the same time, and Earth is going through as well. All of the solar system and the entire universe, we're all shifting at the same time right now. It's so much bigger than you and your life and all the little things that are going on. So surrender. All of these big planets are in Pisces, are lined up to usher us into this beautiful energy of it's safe to surrender. We got you. So surrender and know that your multidimensional codes and DNA is literally coming online as we speak. This is unfolding within you, and all of these fractured parts of yourself that you're going through, you're just clearing out what's extra that you don't need, that's come in, that isn't you, that's affected you, that's been pain and trauma that's come in. And that allows the parts of you that are unhealed just to come back into the heart and feel whole. They're not leaving, they're just, freshening up. Okay. Thank you for being here. Cosmic Wisdom Circle is shifting to free online YouTube space to receive these downloads now. And then there's going to be a group, a membership being created as I let that materialize, where we can go behind the scenes and we can talk about all this stuff and we can dive in and see in our own charts where it's happening. And I can be this Akashic channel just into this container for anyone who's here that needs or wants to receive it. So thank you for receiving it. I love you, and I'll connect again soon.